What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be going over a great wide receiver football IQ quiz to test your knowledge of the position. So if you're not familiar with our quiz-style videos, you guys, what we're going to do is we're going to be showing a pre-snap look like the one on the screen right here. We're going to ask you a series of questions about it, like how would you run a certain route versus this certain coverage, etc. Then we're going to give you a chance to pause the video, think about your answer, and then we'll break down why your answer is right or wrong. So I hope this is able to give you some value, fellas. Let's get started with this. So first situation we're going to be talking about is how would you run a corner post route versus this specific coverage look. So how would you guys run a corner post? So a corner post is where you break to the corner for 3 steps, sell the corner, and then come back to the post. So how would you guys run that versus this specific coverage look? So you guys can go ahead and pause the video and then think about your answers. So pause the video. All right, let's break this thing down. So first things first, anytime I'm trying to figure out how I should run a route versus a specific coverage, I'm trying to identify 2 specific things pre-snap, before the ball is snapped, before I even run my route. And again, this is something that needs to be very, very quick. We break this down and take it very slow and detailed so you guys can understand it. But when you come up to the line, you should have just a thought process of, okay, I'm looking for a DB's leverage and the distance away from me. That's how you come up with your press release. That's how you come up with how you run the route. And it needs to be a specific thing that you're looking for. There are really 3 leverages that DB is going to show: outside, head up, or inside. And then he could be right up on the line of scrimmage like this. He could be 2 yards away. He could be 5 yards away. So those 2 things that you identify, leverage and distance, is how you would run your route, the release that you would choose, and everything. Now, obviously, the route that you run makes a difference. And obviously, where you're lined up on the field makes a difference. So if you guys said you would give that DB a move to the outside to attack his leverage and take the inside release, then break to your corner or sell the corner, then run the post, you would be 100% correct. So I'm going to play at full speed, and then we'll break down why you want to do that. So that receiver gives a quick jab to the outside, takes the inside release, sells the corner, and then runs this post. And that's a very, very skinny corner post, but let's talk about why he was running the route this way. So first things first, he's lined up generally pretty wide. I mean, his split is, I guess you could say, reduced, which means it's cut down. He's lined up closer to the formation because this is the defensive line, and this is a tight end right here. So you're likely to get a DB who's going to play outside leverage because he's expecting an outside breaking route, right? But again, if you don't have a ton of space to the outside, you'd probably be better off taking an inside release on a corner post anyways. But we do want an inside release on a corner post because we want to keep this DB away from the post break. We want to be able to have space. So there's a couple things that tie into it, but this jab fake that he gives right here is just a great way to hold that DB's leverage so he doesn't just ride us to the inside and force us to the inside. So he takes this inside release, and then obviously when he breaks to the corner, he takes his 3 steps, his hips, his speed, his strides are all selling the corner for 3. Then he breaks back to this post to create separation over the top. So if you guys said inside release on that and give a quick jab off the ball, that would be 100% correct. So I'm going to play this full speed, and then we will get plays full speed again, and then we'll get to the next question on our wide receiver IQ quiz. So great job there by Sutton, selling that corner and then winning on that post with an inside release. So this next question here is going to be a route from Justin Jefferson versus this specific coverage look. Now, before we break this down, fellas, if you are a wide receiver and you would like to train with myself and my staff of coaches this offseason, guys, we are going to be traveling out to 12 more cities across the entire U.S. for 2-day-long QB and wide receiver training camps. We've already had 3 camps in San Francisco, Orlando, and Phoenix this year. All 3 of them have sold out. Then our Charlotte and Austin camp are both sold out. Those are our next 2, but we do have a few available spots left in Vegas, Seattle, Chicago, Newark, Birmingham, Houston, Boston, Columbus, Boise, and Los Angeles. So guys, if you want some more information, want to sign up for those camps, go to the very first link in the description below. You guys, again, very first link in the description below. That's where you could sign up, get all the info, where the camps will be taking place, and what we will be doing. So guys, we'd love to have you there. Very first link in that description below is where you can sign up. Let's get back to this video. So now let's talk about this look here from Justin Jefferson. So the question, or the route in question, you guys, is going to be, how would you run a 10-yard out route versus this specific coverage look? So how would you guys run a 10-yard out versus this specific coverage look? So you guys can go ahead and pause the video and think about your answer. So pause the video. All right, let's break this thing down. So remember, we talked about it. Let's take a look. We want that pre-snap process. So we're looking for the DB's leverage, and we are looking for the distance away from us. So this looks a little bit like zone coverage, just based on the way he's standing. Looks maybe a little bit like cover 2, like this DB is going to be playing the flats, and we have this safety who's going to be playing this deep half over the top. So, but for sure he's outside leverage, right? So if he's outside shade, and it's not like a mandatory outside release route, if I have to run an outside breaking route like a 10-yard out, route or a corner, I probably want to take the inside release. And he's right up on the line of scrimmage. So how you would run this route, this is what you guys said, you would be correct. We would give some type of move attacking this DB's leverage and take the inside release. Now, again, some of you might be thinking, well, if I'm running an outside breaking route and why wouldn't I want to take the outside release? And the reason why is because of how the DB's lined up pre-snap. His goal being outside leverage, and we know this just based off of his leverage, is to not let us get to the outside. He wouldn't be shaded to the outside if he wanted to let us get to the outside. He wants to force us inside towards a safety help or towards any type of help. Maybe it's a linebacker showing like he's going to blitz and then he drops into his zone. But we know he has help inside because of his leverage. So he doesn't want me to go outside, wants to force me inside. So let's make him think off the ball that I'm going outside to at least widen him and take the inside release. My goal should be to stack the DB where he's trailing behind me and I give a move at the top and get some space. If he's running right next to my hip, I could always take my arm, put it on the back of his shoulder, back of his hip, and throw by underneath him. Now, maybe this DB stays in cover 2 and just lets us go. Okay, fine, then we're going to go run the route. But let's play at full speed and watch what Jefferson does here. So he gives a move, takes this inside release, DB's on the hip, he slips under him, and then he's able to win on this 10-yard out. So let's talk about it, right? Could this have been a push-off? I mean, probably. Something I would have liked to see Jefferson do here is on his route, not take like this super wide stem to widen this distance from the DB. Like, we always want to try to stack a DB. So after his release, what I would have liked to see him do is try to get hip to hip with him so he could stack over the top better. When you take a wide angle off the ball and you're going this way, not vertical right away, when that DB has space, all he can do is cut off your angle to the route and be able to play over the top. So that's why he has to cut under him and throw by. Now, could this have been a push-off? Probably could call it, but that's ultimately how you would run the route. So let's play this thing again full speed. So if you guys said jab fake and take that inside release, throw by or stack, that would be 100% correct in this situation. So now let's talk about this next look. So this next question here is I want you guys to think about a few things. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but you should be thinking about this as a wide receiver. But the question is, how would you guys run a 12 back to 10 comeback? So remember, you have two types of 45-degree angle, like single move routes. You have a curl, which is where you break towards the quarterback, and then you have a comeback where you break away from the quarterback. So your comeback could be 15-12, it could be 18 back to 15, it could be 12 back to 10, depending on where you're at on the field. So how would you guys run a 12 back to 10 comeback versus this specific coverage? So you guys go ahead and pause the video and think about your answer. So pause the video. All right, let's break this thing down. So first things first, obviously, what do we want to identify? Leverage and distance, right? So we're in the red zone. Obviously, we were on the 5-yard line. So we have a DB who's sitting maybe about like 4 yards away. He's inside shade. His eyes are on us. So that tells me that it's man-to-man coverage, but he's playing that like catch coverage where he's 4 yards away. Essentially what he wants is he wants St. Brown to just like run to the comeback so he could cut off the angle and get hands. So what we obviously have to do is we want to try to close space with this DB. I want to try to step onto his toes and threaten his leverage to the inside. So give some type of move, making him think we're going to the inside. Best way to get a DB to move, make him think you're going where he's supposed to not let you go, which is to the inside. It's wherever his leverage is, that's where he's not supposed to let you go. So you want to close the space, give him a move, and then push up to your comeback. Now, when on your comeback, if you guys said you want to sell vertical, run full speed, put your head down and go, that would be incorrect. Because think about where we're at. This DB's not threatened by a deep fade right here, guys, because we're in the red zone. We're on the 5-yard line. What he is threatened, though, by is this back pylon quick fade. So maybe what we do is we close the space, we get to his toes, we threaten his leverage, then maybe we give a little peek back inside to sell like I'm getting that quick goal line fade, and then I put the brakes on and run my comeback. So let's play this thing full speed, because remember, guys, you have to sell vertical different ways. Selling vertical is not always, let's just run as hard as we can and make him think we're running past him. You got to think about the situation we're in. That's not going to work right here. So St. Brown does a good job of closing the space. That little step right there threatens his leverage. Could he have sold it a little bit more? Probably. He probably could have sold this a little bit better. But when he bursts up, you see how he's peeking back. That's what makes that DB think, oh, crap, it's a goal line fade, it's a jump ball, it's a back shoulder. And then what do we do when we get to the depth of the route? We snap down and put the brakes on. All you need is a step on this DB, especially in the red zone. A step is everything, and especially when you have a talented quarterback who throws that thing early and you expect it early. So let's play this again, full speed one more time. Great job by St. Brown utilizing that peek back move in the red zone on a comeback. So if that's how you guys said you would run the route, you would be 100% correct. All right, fellas, hope this video was able to give you some value. Hope you learned a few things. If you have any type of feedback, any other videos you would like to see from us, feel free to post that in the comment section below. We read every single comment. We answer every single comment because we appreciate the support, you guys. So fellas, hope it's helped. I'll see y'all next time.